Julian just sneaked in just in time. That's great.
I wish we could have the robot voice that says that the call's being recorded be one of the co-hosts. Like, how much better would that be than having Kyle as the person who
Right.
keeps interrupting the show? If we could just have that robot voice interrupt the show over and over
Yeah,
again.
that'd be great. Yeah. And I'm looking into that. Well, I was looking into that, and then
Before
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Well, hi everyone. Welcome to another session, one of the last sessions of Ask Todd Live that we'll be doing. For those of you who have never been here before, like Taylor Klessens, who's on the call with us today, Taylor Klessens. For those of you, she really likes when I mention her name when she's on calls. For those of you who have never really been on the show before, the whole premise is that sort of in the same way that you would climb a tall peak in the Himalayas with a Sherpa to find this kind of wizened hermit living atop the mountain and to come to them with advice. That's sort of like what today's like. So think of me as your Sherpa, and you can think of Todd as sort of the wizened old guru who sits atop the mountain and kind of spouts out like nonsense that you can sort of translate into answers to the best.
And I'm just gonna amend that real quick, just to say that I believe that I'm both the Sherpa and the wizened sage. If anything, I would say that Tyler is maybe like one of the pebbles that gets in your shoe on the way up, on the hike. I think that's probably a better description of what's going on here. So
that's one way of looking at it. I've always kind of seen it as more like the two of us are sort of sitting on top of the mountain, and I'm giving advice on some things and being wise in some areas, and you're being wise in other areas. It's sort of like we share this responsibility. That's always been my take on, I don't.
No, that's not what it is.
Doesn't sound like you feel.
Yeah, that's not what this is at all. Sam's here, by the way. I think this is Sam's first one. That's very exciting.
Yeah, what's the format? Do I just like ask? Do I wait for a lull and then do I put it in a channel?
There's no white noise on the show. There's no lulls. We always make sure to eradicate. This is a professional. Even kind of asking that is sort of pretentious because
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, basically you can ask questions via your microphone, or you can type them into the chat. The more cowardly guests tend to type them into the chat, whereas the Madeline Reeds of the world tend to get out there and ask the questions with their camera on.
Oh, so I'm just going to go for it then, right? There's no like order. I love it. Just a question that I think that's on everyone's minds. This one's for you, Todd, in particular. When was the last time you were tested for COVID-19?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sam. And I do get this one all the time. And the thing is with answering questions like that, I think that people want to know certain things and they ask, those questions, but I think that like the doctors checked me and they told me that it was like almost totally out of my body. And so like, I don't think that I have it,
Okay.
And
just what does almost totally out of your body mean exactly? Could you quantify that?
So like, let's imagine the virus is like a group of 10,000 people inside in a sports arena. Like I would say that there's like the janitorial staff is still there. Yeah, they're cleaning up, they're making sure that like, there isn't any hot dog wrappers on the ground, but for the most part, the event's over. And I think that's a pretty scientific way to look at it as well. And so I like that answer.
Fauci, one of his last press conferences, described it as sort of a sports arena inside of you, I think.
Yeah, I gave him that, and he was like, "Do you mind if I steal that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd prefer if you didn't." And then he did anyway. But that's something that happens, whatever.
On the same topic, we've got a great question from Julian Starr here. Todd, the steroids clearly are doing wonders beyond just curing your COVID-19. Do you plan on continuing to take them after it fully leaves your body?
Right. That's a very great question, Julian. And the short answer is absolutely. I feel incredible. I've never before had this much I want to call it just excited rage, and my thoughts are just all over the place. It's incredible. It's an incredible feeling. I feel like I'm like a superhero or a supervillain, somewhere in between there, maybe. And I feel like I could just, I feel like I could eat another human right now. I know that's a weird way to describe how I feel,
right,
but that's like what I keep coming back to, because like that's what I could do at this moment.
I think everyone on the call can kind of understand and relate to sort of what you're saying. And, for those of you who haven't been talking to Todd as regularly as I do, we have a morning call and a nighttime call every day just to check on each other and see how we're doing. And it's been fluctuating emotionally, our phone calls for sure. It's obvious that he's not really sticking to the dosage that the doctors have been recommending. So, it's hysterical sobbing. Sometimes it's just rage-filled rants about things that don't even really apply to me or to him, really even to him at all. Like a whole rant about Homer's Odyssey last night, 2.5 hours long, with some of the most disgusting language I think I've ever heard from another person in real life. So, but then every once in a while, he'll just be really like, I love you, man. I really love you. And when I leave Procore, I want you to take over Ask Todd, and I want it to be Ask Tyler. And I want
okay. So hold on right there. Hold on right there. Because that, I know that you're just throwing that part in there, but I do want to talk a little bit about the dosage thing, because, you said that like, this isn't the amount that the doctor recommended. And that's what it is. It's a recommendation. Okay. Science is not an exact, what's the word?
Exact science.
Yeah, sure. It's not an exact science, right. And I think that when they tell you like this many milligrams or that many milligrams, what they mean is like, everyone's body is different. I started taking this and I weighed, I think I was clocking in at 105 pounds. I was feeling a little weak. Since I started taking it, I'm up to a bulky 185. And if I were taking the same dosage, that would be silly. I'm twice the person I was when I started, not just physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, in other ways also. I am almost an entirely new human.
Yeah. Emotionally, for sure. It does feel like you're about 8 different people whenever I'm talking to you. So there's definitely something to be said.
I just rewatched the movie Identity 2 nights ago, by the way. Has anyone seen Identity from like 2003? It's a great movie about a serial killer who's actually 9 people.
That's a premise that's never been used in Hollywood before. It's really original. Okay, so we also have a question from Lauren here. Hi, Todd, longtime listener here. How precisely would you select a human to eat?
Yeah, and that is a great question, Lauren, because if anyone knows anything about me, they know that I am a finicky eater. Okay. And I use the word finicky rather than picky because it has more syllables. But the thing is, with how I would choose a human, I think the same way I choose like a chicken. I like a good lean meat. I like it without a lot of feathers. So I probably wouldn't, go with a human who's feathered. Okay, I'd be fooling myself and you guys if I didn't admit that I have been thinking about who I would eat. And well, shoot, like Tyler said, we've been talking a lot, and we've been having some conversations with FaceTime and Zoom and stuff. And in the cartoons, when they start to imagine the other person as like as a meal. It's been like that with the drugs, with the steroids, where everything I see isn't exactly what I think it would have looked like before I was taking the steroids. So this is okay. I'm like stepping around this, but the point is I would shave Tyler's head and eat his body. What was the next? Was there a next question? Or
I have a question actually. It's pretty rare on the show. How long have you been saying how long have you been saying you've been wanting to eat me? Because here's the thing. Let me back up for a second.
Yeah.
Another thing I haven't really mentioned, and I've been doing this for you, frankly, not mentioning this on the show, but you've been sending me packages, which is at first I was really I thought it was kind of I thought you were being a little passive aggressive because you were sending me like shampoos and soaps.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few days, I still used them, because I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah. Did you get the chicken broth that I sent too?
Well, that's the thing, Todd, is that every single one of these was chicken broth. And I didn't realize it until Casey said something. And you'll notice Casey's not on the call today. You'll also notice Casey's not here with me. Oh, she is. Actually, her name is Kaki. Yes. I'm glad she's still tuning in, even though she stopped staying at the house as of a couple weeks ago. But mostly because of the smell. I had been putting chicken broth in my hair every day in the shower. I've been using a congealed ball of chicken fat as my soap, and I didn't know it was.
Have you been eating the grass that I've sent you also? Yeah, because I've sent you some grass for eating. Yeah.
I didn't know that the grass is for eating. So
grass is for eating. I would like it if you were grass fed, just because I think it's healthy for you. I just think it's healthy.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't think, and I don't know if this is getting across, and maybe people can kind of chime in here, but like, I don't want you to eat. I don't want to be eaten is the thing. And I don't think you never told me that's why you were sending me all that stuff. You just kind of said like, hey man, thinking about you a lot. And you put that in all caps, a lot. Yeah. Here's some shampoo. And I just thought you were being kind of lame, like saying I didn't smell good, but it's starting to sound like there was like another thing happening here that,
Tyler.
Would you remember?
Yeah, Sam. Please, Sam.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, I think that, like, I think I speak for all of us when I say, like, this whole thing about you being prepared to be in. I think that this was, like, a known thing, and I'm just a little bit – I'm caught off guard that you're caught off guard.
Because, like, and on that note, like, remember what I've been telling you is, like, oh, you looking like a snack today, Tyler. Like, I've been saying that, like, so much recently.
Yeah. And the cartoonish amount of drool coming out of your mouth whenever on Zoom calls, like truly like a cartoon character. Like it's like there was this thing the other day. It's hard to visualize, but he was drooling so much. There's this moment where he was in a little canoeing in a river of his own drool, trying to get to me. It's really hard to picture, but almost like a SpongeBob SquarePants scene or something along those lines, if you've seen that show. But it's been over the top, but I'll admit, Sam, that it's completely news to me. It's completely news to me. So.
And I think that's on you, Tyler. If I can just be like,
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And you asked me how long I've been wanting this, and it's been since about midway through 2019. So it's actually before the steroids by quite a bit. Yeah.
Way before the steroids.
I mean, I do think
before any of this. Okay.
I think the steroids have maybe given it an urgency that didn't exist before, but I've definitely always wanted to eat your skin. I'm not going to pretend like that's been like a recent development.
The skin's the best.
Skin is the best part.
The skin's the best part. Okay. Let's get off this topic just for a bit. Just for my sake.
We just did 14 minutes on cannibalism, right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if anyone has any other questions, hey, you know the drill. Toss those in the chat. Save us from ourselves if you can.
I've got another one for what it's worth.
Let's take it.
I don't want to. I hope this doesn't go back to the cannibalism thing, but I'm just like wondering. There've been some reports about the next Ask Todd Live, and then they may not even happen considering your recent diagnosis and the steroids. I just want to know, like, are you prepared to do the next Ask Todd Live? And then Tyler, are you comfortable doing the next Ask Todd Live given the current circumstances?
Yeah.
So they wanted me to do a virtual one for the next one. And I was like, I'm not going to do it, And then they pointed out that I guess these technically are virtual ones. And so I guess they kind of like, I don't know. I think that was a trap, if I'm being totally honest. I think we're still going to do it. Like I said, the pretty much it's just the janitorial staff cleaning up the rest of the COVID inside of here. There's a good chance we're going to do it. No one else will ever be the host of this show.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. That's still kind of being called. That's still being kind of called into question. And from my perspective, I don't plan on if Todd's not doing it virtually, I'm not doing it. It's that simple. I'm not going to be in the same room as him, and it's not for the reasons you think. It's not for the first reason that came to your mind. It's true. It's purely 100% because I'm absolutely terrified at this point that he's going to try to eat me. It's that simple. So as far as
try to do anything,
right. Hey, Nick, Nick, so take this one with a grain of salt. His questions are usually kind of like whatever. Hey Todd, where's Kyle? See, it's like, it's just, I don't know. I don't even know why he tunes in.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Kyle is just someone who sometimes comes into these. He's not a host of the show or anything like that.
We've been hearing that a lot. We've been hearing that a lot. He's not a host of the show.
He's not a host of the show. And I guess I'm just not crazy about people like acting like I'm supposed to know where he is at all hours. I don't know where he is at all hours, and I don't keep tabs on him because it doesn't matter to me. I did see Kyle last night at the Mission Rose Garden, and I don't know if he got home after that or not. I really can't verify.
And what I want to add to this is when Todd leaves, on day one, my administration running Ask Todd, the first thing day one is we're going to make sure Kyle's not on the show anymore. That's going to be our first thing we're going to do. We're going to sign that into action right away, day one.
You are not going to be the host of this show ever.
Another question from Julian Starr. Todd, what are you looking forward to most about civilian life? That's a good one, Julian.
Yeah, that is a great question. I guess it's it's been 5.5, 6 years since I was on a job hunt. I don't remember liking it, but I might this time. Actually, I pretty specifically remember hating it, but that's something that I'll be looking forward to. I can't really go anywhere, because of this disease that I supposedly carry. I actually might be moving to LA. That's something that I'm looking into right now. So that could be fun, I guess.
We haven't talked about that. You haven't run that.
I haven't. Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't need to know. It's a need to know basis, okay. And you don't. But yeah, I don't know. I'm actually not really like looking forward to it at this moment. I'm sure that there will be some redeemable qualities, but so far, no dice.
We have another question here from Miss January. Hey, Todd, what do you expect Tyler to dress up as for Halloween? And there's a package at the door, so I'm going to grab that. Why don't you take this one in the meantime, Todd?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so Tyler to dress up as for Halloween. I've had some custom ideas for him. I've given him 3 options this year. One of them, of course, was a sexy M&M. One of them was a nurse, and what was the other one that I sent him? Oh, the other one was as a Thanksgiving turkey. And that one was kind of motivated by a weird thing that I think I've mentioned that's kind of going on with me right now. But those were the ones that I kind of pushed to him. So he should be choosing one of those. Those are really his only options right now.
All right. Sorry, everyone. I hope that Todd, I don't know what he told you, but right now I'm kind of leaning towards, I have this sexy nurse costume that was sent to me recently, and that's sort of where I'm headed, where my mind's at right now. I don't know what Todd said, but hey, Madeline Reed. We got a Madeline Reed on this situation here. I haven't had one of those in a bit. Hey, Todd, I'm trying to pick a new pair of glasses. In today's world, there's seemingly infinite options, and I just can't seem to make a choice. How do I decide which glasses are the best glasses?
Yeah, that's a great question, Madeline. And this is the thing with that. It doesn't matter. And I get that. I get that you're, like curious. You want the best glasses and everything like that. But in the end, like, Earth has been around for 4.5 billion years.
Well, that's debatable. But yeah, we don't need to go into that. That's
or 6,000 years, depending on there are 2 schools of thought, really. But either way, you're a speck on that continuum, on that timeline, right? What glasses you choose to wear, do you think that's going to be in the history books? That's not even going to make it onto, that's not even going to be etched into a bathroom stall. You know what I mean? Like, nothing matters, Madeline.
Right.
If I can say something positive today, I would say that, nothing you do, no decision you make will affect anyone else. Yeah.
Did you take, are you on your steroids right now?
I'm always on them, dude.
It's showing a little bit. Let's try to tone it down a little bit. The rage, I can just feel, I've had enough phone conversations with you to see the telltale signs when the rage is starting to get to you a little bit. Let's move off of that question. Hey, let's try to keep less inflammatory questions in the chat, everyone. Todd's feeling a little bit sensitive.
I'm fine. Don't call me sensitive. I've told you not to call me sensitive.
Todd, it's the drugs, man. You just need to remember it's the drugs. Kaki wants to know, Todd, in front of the dozen people gathered here, will you commit, this is actually one I want to know too, to a peaceful transfer of power at the end of your term? This is something that, I don't know, everywhere you look, I've been seeing this out there. Everyone's been asking about this.
Yeah,
Everyone wants to know the answer to this.
Yeah, look, if there's fraud there, it depends on if it's legitimate. It depends on if it's legitimate, really.
Right.
If it's not, if it's fraudulent, it's really my responsibility to fight back. It's not even a choice at that point. It's something I have to do. And so, yeah, I'll peacefully transfer to continuing to do this. Or
that's not really the answer to the question, but in a similar vein, we have this question from Sam. This one's actually directed to me. It's probably good practice for me to start answering some of these. So Tyler, it seems like you are gearing up to steal Ask Todd from Todd. Not true. Never said that. Go back, check the facts. Never been said. Shouldn't it be the right of the people to choose the next host? That's a great question. And if you were to go back, but before we talk about that question, I want to talk about the record that Todd has left, some of the things that he has said that he hasn't lived up to. I'm going to answer your question, but before I answer your question, let's talk about some of the things that Todd's done. Because Todd has contradicted himself multiple times. Todd has promised a lot during his time doing Ask Todd. Not everything's happened. He hasn't accomplished everything he was going to do.
Wrong.
I'm talking. Actually, I'm talking. Excuse me, I'm talking. So should the people decide? I think they have, frankly. I think that the most important person here, Chewy, decided a while ago who the host should be. Okay. And we will see how it all plays out come early November.
We will see how it is. We will see how it is. And the thing is too, though, that there are a lot of supporters that I have that are standing back and standing by. So we'll see what happens.
Moving on from this subject, Julian wants to know, Todd, not to rehash old grounds or grounds.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting that. You can, in the future, you can just correct it before you hit the enter button. But will you confirm or deny that Goff comes from an Ellis Island shortening of good source of food?
Yeah. I got to be totally honest with you. I don't think that it officially does, but now that's kind of all I'm thinking about, because I agree with it. I think there's a lot of words that it's like they weren't necessarily acronyms to start with, but once you kind of break it down, like the word fine, I'm sure you've heard that one. There's some bad language in that one, so I won't say it, but yeah, I can't really think of any ones that don't have bad language in them that are reverse, that are retro acronyms,
I've been really clear about where I'm from, my origins, what my name stands for. In the meantime, you might notice that Todd hasn't released a single record of any kind regarding no birth records. We don't even know if Todd was even born in the Procore area or anywhere
at all
would allow him to really, or even if he was born, period. Yeah. So I would like to say that my name and who I am hasn't been called into question. I can't say the same thing for
it. Actually, would you agree though that it just now was called into question?
This is the first time.
I guess it has though.
First time.
That's my point.
Madeline Reed, I get why she would ask this, because this was a little harsh before Todd. Let's try to stay cool on this one. She wants to know, what does she have to do to be etched into a bathroom stall?
Right.
Sorry, I couldn't say that one without a little chuckle.
Yeah. Honestly, this is kind of one of those things where, you can kind of do it yourself. it's not. I really don't want to get into how to get your name etched into a bathroom stall. Let's.
Yeah. Of all the subjects we've ever had to skirt away from really quickly, that's probably the highest on the list.
Yeah.
Sam, you were holding a place in the queue, so go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, I figured it would just be polite to get in the queue because there seems to be some process. And to be clear, I actually am enjoying that there may be some level of process going forward. This is actually another question for Tyler. You seem to be like assuming that you're just going to be handed the host position after the end of Todd's term. Sure. And it seems to me that like you're assuming that because there's just a lot of spite voting against Todd that'll just go in your favor. And I'm just a little bit concerned that you have little to offer in the way of policy and that your only policy, as it were, is not Todd. And I'm just a little concerned to bring in some new voters.
All right, are you guys gonna vote in a rapper if it's not one of us or something like that? I mean,
that's ridiculous.
You have two options.
That's crazy, Todd.
So there's 2,000 people at Procore, right? So great question, Sam. Thank you. There's 2,000 people at Procore. We have seen a flood of people already putting in their votes. Already, it's too early. You're not even supposed to be doing it yet. Already putting in their vote for who should be taking this over. It's unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this before in the history of Procore. A flood of people, about 400 or so people have already voted. I'll tell you what, I can tell you with a bit of confidence whose name is on that ballot for who's going to be the next Ask Todd host. So again, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 1,000 times. We will let the people will decide, and I think they've already decided.
I think that the fraud that has occurred is already maybe tried to decide, but I'm telling you, my supporters won't stand for that.
Right.
So.
Well, they'll have to just deal with that. Nick has a good point. I did skip one of his questions earlier about you being the caliber star you're going to be in Hollywood. I apologize. Let's go back to that old question because this one could paint me in a negative light. So, hey Todd, do you think Hollywood can handle a star of your caliber?
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent question. I think people have been wondering that for 37 years, I popped out of my mommy's belly and the doctor said, no, Hollywood can't handle this hot baby. And I thought that was a weird choice of words, but I guess I was like 101 degrees. And so the hot baby thing was maybe just more about actual temperature. But yeah, I mean, look, people my entire life have told me like, oh, you can't go to Hollywood. You're too hot for Hollywood, and you'll just blow the competition out of the water. Like it's not even fair, and frankly, like, whatever, I'm not going to listen. I've listened to that for 37 years and I'm done listening to it. And I'm ready to be, I'm ready to take up that mantle. Hey, Tyler, is that package I sent you?
So yeah, sorry, Sam and Nick, we got to ask your questions in the channel because we are at time. I'm really sorry about that. But I do want to just end the show with Todd sent me a little package and I figured we could get into this together. Thanks, Todd.
Yep, no problem.
This. Sorry for all the shampoos and the chicken broths. Hope you enjoy your new deodorant. All right. Thanks, Todd. That is really okay. This is a stick of butter. So this is just a stick of butter that you are calling deodorant. I know what you're trying to do. It's not funny. And this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about when you're making your decision for who's going to be taking over this channel. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is what one side is doing and the other side's not doing as much of. So remember that when you're, all right.
Yeah. Remember that you're voting for someone who answers questions and someone who makes a great dinner. All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks for attending. And we'll see you all soon.